In a world on the brink of another Cold War, one man steps back into the spotlight, Donald Trump. With global tensions boiling and diplomacy failing, Trump drops a bombshell. There's a good chance he'll meet with Vladimir Putin. Could this meeting reshape the war in Ukraine or push the world even closer to the edge? What really happened behind closed doors in Moscow last week? And why does the Kremlin call it constructive? This is the story the world needs to hear before it's too late. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has stated there is a good chance he will meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin soon. His remarks, made during a press conference at the Oval Office, have sparked waves of speculation across the global political landscape. The comment came at a crucial moment, with the Ukraine conflict intensifying, sanctions expanding, and fears of a direct NATO-Russia confrontation increasing. Trump, known for his unconventional diplomacy and direct leader engagements, signaled that he believes a personal meeting with Putin could lead to progress that traditional diplomacy has failed to achieve. This development follows the recent visit of U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff to Moscow, a longtime Trump associate who reportedly held hours-long discussions with President Putin. According to Kremlin statements, those talks were described as useful and constructive. Although no formal agreements were announced, political insiders suggest that a wide range of issues were covered: military escalation in eastern Ukraine, energy distribution disruptions, the grain export blockade, and the future of Russia's ties with China and India. Within Russia, political commentators close to the Kremlin have responded positively to Trump's statement. State media has suggested that Trump represents a more pragmatic and stable voice compared to the current U.S. administration, and speculated that his involvement could reopen channels for negotiation. Several Russian officials have also hinted that Moscow would not reject a direct meeting with Trump, despite him being out of office, citing the importance of any diplomatic path that could reduce the likelihood of further conflict. Russian foreign policy circles believe that Trump, unlike current Western leaders, is capable of engaging in realpolitik and recognizing Russia's strategic concerns. In Ukraine, however, the reaction has been more cautious. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's office has not officially commented on Trump's intentions, but several members of his administration have expressed concern that backchannel diplomacy, especially involving someone outside official U.S. government channels, could undermine the unity of Western support. Ukrainian military officials remain focused on ongoing operations in the Donbas and southern fronts, and stress that any peace deal or ceasefire must include full withdrawal of Russian forces and restoration of Ukraine's territorial integrity. Meanwhile, in China, state-controlled media has closely monitored the Trump-Putin narrative. Beijing views Trump's possible re-entry into international diplomacy as a sign of shifting global alignments. China has deepened its ties with Russia since the beginning of the Ukraine war, enhancing energy cooperation, military coordination, and diplomatic alignment in opposition to what both call the Western security threat. Analysts in China see any Trump-Putin engagement as an opportunity to weaken NATO's position and potentially accelerate multipolar restructuring of global power. India, a country maintaining a delicate balancing act, has also observed these developments with strategic interest. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's administration has refrained from direct criticism of Russia throughout the Ukraine war, while maintaining close relations with the U.S. Trump has long praised India as a key partner in global affairs, and many within India's foreign policy elite see a Trump-Putin dialogue as a potential avenue for stabilizing energy supplies and reducing the risk of major conflict. Indian oil purchases from Russia have increased dramatically since 2022, and any diplomatic progress involving Russia and the West could reduce market volatility that directly affects India's economy. Back in the United States, Trump's statement has stirred political debate. While his supporters praise his bold leadership and willingness to engage where others have failed, critics warn that Trump's unsanctioned diplomacy could confuse allies and embolden adversaries. Trump, however, insists that his approach is about peace through strength, and that the current path taken by the Biden administration is only escalating the situation without clear results. He argues that his rapport with Putin, built during his presidency, allows for more direct communication, avoiding the delays and misinterpretations of bureaucratic diplomacy. Trump further emphasized the urgent need for global stability, warning that the longer the war drags on, the higher the risk of unintended consequences. He stated that global economic instability, energy shortages, and the rising costs of military involvement are pushing the world toward a point of no return. He declared, "You need strong people who can talk tough and make peace. The world can't afford more weak leadership. A good deal can only come when there's mutual respect. I've done it before. I can do it again." As the situation unfolds, countries across Europe, Asia, and the Middle East are closely watching. European Union leaders have expressed unease at the idea of Trump conducting unofficial talks, especially as they continue coordinating with Washington on sanctions, military support for Ukraine, and preparations for winter energy demands. Germany and France are reportedly trying to keep diplomatic pressure on Russia while exploring ways to keep their economies from collapsing under the weight of prolonged instability. Middle Eastern countries, particularly those involved in OPEC+, are also keeping a close eye on this development. Many oil-producing nations view a Trump-Putin meeting as a potential game changer for global energy markets. A diplomatic thaw could stabilize crude prices and reduce tension in international shipping routes, particularly in the Black Sea and the Persian Gulf. As the possibility of a Trump-Putin meeting looms, it's becoming clear that this isn't just a bilateral issue. The entire global order stands at a turning point, and Trump's next move, whether symbolic or substantial, could influence everything from energy security and war strategy to global alliances and the 2026 U.S. presidential race. With Trump teasing a return to political life and Putin navigating an increasingly hostile Western landscape, this proposed meeting could be more than a conversation. It could become a moment that defines the decade. A Trump-Putin meeting could shift the global narrative around the Ukraine war, as well as 2026 U.S. foreign policy outlook. While critics argue that Trump's past handling of Putin lacked accountability, supporters claim that only Trump has the political capital and boldness to de-escalate global tensions. International observers are watching closely. A senior EU diplomat, speaking anonymously, said, "If Trump meets with Putin, it will send shockwaves across Brussels and Washington alike." In a world where one wrong move could ignite global consequences, the idea of two powerful leaders, Trump and Putin, sitting across the table once again is more than political theater. It's a reflection of how fragile our world truly is. Whether you see Donald Trump as a disruptor or a deal maker, His potential re-entry into global diplomacy reminds us that peace often hinges not just on policies, but on the personalities behind them. What happens next could change everything, from the battlefield in Ukraine to the price you pay at the pump. One meeting, one conversation, one decision. Stay informed, stay aware, because history doesn't wait. If you found this breakdown valuable and want to stay ahead of the curve with real, uncensored geopolitical updates, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join the conversation in the comments below. Your voice matters, especially in times like these.